Welcome back to another episode of Archie Sonic Character Files as we explore the histories of the inhabitants on planet Mobius. In this episode, we take a look at the history of the Defenders Under the Sea, known as the 40 Fathom Freedom Fighters. Well, since the previous episode focused on a well-known character, it's time to look at some more obscure ones from Archie Sonic's history, and see if these characters were underrated or deserve to be forgotten. I'll occasionally be referring to this group as the 4F to keep things short. They made their first appearance in the three-part Tails miniseries. After Tails discovers details for one of Robotnik's plans, he decides to travel to Down Under in the Sea Fox, believing that he's a grown man and can fight off Robotnik by himself. But it's not as easy as he thought once he runs into Octobot, one of Robotnik's robots who was defeated by Tails in a previous story. Now he's back for revenge, and proceeds to destroy the Sea Fox while dragging Tails to the bottom of the ocean to drown. But in comes the 40 Fathom Freedom Fighters to the rescue, with its members being Ray the Manta Ray, the Valve the Clam, Bottlenose the Dolphin, PB Jellyfish, and the big guy, Fluke the Blue Whale. They manage to rescue Tails and defeat Octobot, while Fluke helps Tails reach Down Under before heading out. After Tails had his adventure with teaming up with the Down Under Freedom Fighters and stopping Crocbot, another one of Robotnik's robots, Ray and Bottlenose bring the Sea Fox back to Tails, stating that their pal Brain Coral had fixed it. And so Tails heads back to Knothole, saying that he'll tell Sonic and his friends about these Freedom Fighter groups. The next time we'd see them would be in the Sonic Mecha Madness special, in the story Eel of Fortune. PB Jellyfish notices Octobot swimming away in fear, because apparently he's terrified of the mob boss Eel Capone, who plans to take over the sea. After PB gets attacked by his gang of mollusks, he is rescued by his fellow teammates after being contacted by the Plankton Intelligence Agency, all while Fluke is busy migrating. After discussing how they're going to handle the mobster, Bottlenose volunteers to do it, and defeats him using his marine martial arts. With Eel Capone defeated, the 4F carry him off to Aquatraz. The last time we'd see these characters in action would be in issue 185 in the story Misfit Badnik's The Soggy Salty Sequel. After Sonic had trashed Pseudo Sonic and presumably their island, the old Badniks plan to rebuild Pseudo Sonic into a giant and terrorize Mobius. But in comes the 4F to stop their plans. All seems lost with giant Pseudo Sonic being activated, but fortunately Fluke the Blue Whale flattens him, and later smashes the rest of the Badniks into a metallic cube. Another job well done. And that's the history of the 40 Fathom Freedom Fighters. Now this would be the part where I would talk about the members individually, but honestly, there's not much to say about them. Ray is just kinda there and presumably the leader, but Valve can somehow see where he's going despite having no eyes. PB Jellyfish looks like the long-lost relative to Meatwad. Bottlenose being a ninja is interesting but rarely touched upon, and Fluke is just a big plot device. Not even the complete Sonic comic encyclopedia tried to make them sound interesting. And you know it's a sad group of forgettable characters when the freaking NERBs have more backstory than these guys. Well, okay, they try to give some of the characters personality, like the Valve is talkative and PB has a smart aleck personality, I guess, even though in the stories they all act very bland, as if their generic designs weren't dull enough already. I know Mike Gallagher is known for writing Archie Sonic to be more comical with the puns and all that, but I feel like he's at his punniest with these guys. Working for the Plankton Intelligence Agency, having a smart friend named Brain Coral, Bottlenose is an expert finja, and takes criminals to Aquatraz. Yeah, get it? Well, it's still a hell of a lot better than Pontap's style of writing for Sonic. And in some ways, I kind of feel bad for Mike. Not only was he the guy that created the 4F, but apparently he was the only writer that had any interest in using them. It might have been interesting to see what would happen if they were in a story written by other writers like Ian Flynn, Scott Fulop, Carl Boilers, Evan Stanley, or hell, even Ken Penders. But alas, I guess it's hard to write aquatic characters when the big main star of the series can't swim. Weirdly enough, out of all the members, Valve would live on the longest in Archie Sonic's history, and that's mostly thanks to artist John Gray. Yeah, he pretty much made it this running gag where he would talk about the clan being so powerful and super fantastic, and it shows in his work. Whether it was his own fan art or working on the off-panel segments, he always featured that clan making random cameos. Even in projects that he didn't work on, like seeing a pre-leaked version of the character in the Dark Mobius universe, and making the cover for the complete Sonic comic encyclopedia. Guess the other staff members just had fun carrying on John Gray's running gag. So yeah, despite these guys being the least popular Freedom Fighters group, I guess it is fitting that the last issue that Mike Gallagher worked on for Archie Sonic just so happened to have featured these guys in action for one last time. Of course, this wouldn't be the end of the idea of having aquatic Mobians, as we would later get Acolyte, one of Robotnik's big baddies from both the old and new continuities. And of course, the new canon would give us a handful of new characters that mostly reside in Meripus. If it wasn't for the whole lawsuit drama, this might have been a nice opportunity to reintroduce the 40 Fathom Freedom Fighters with new designs and more unique personality. But I still prefer Razor the Shark and Opal the Jellyfish and the rest. Man, it's freaking night and day when comparing the different designs. Which just goes to show you that aquatic Mobians can work in official Sonic media when made by the right people to make them good in both design and personality. Even if it triggers Sega's fear of fish. Well, that wraps up this character file, so until then, I got a juice! Oh sure, Bavalve might be great and powerful and all that, but can you handle the ultimate mightiness of Bimmy the Echidna?